Hey guys, as you may have known, I reviewed The Garden of Words, an anime movie by Makoto Shinkai. I will link that at the end of the video. But this video is about the latest movie he has done and the best he has done, which is Your Name. Your Name is the story of Mitsuha and Taki, two teenagers that happen to exchange bodies out of nowhere one day, and it happens some days and some other days it doesn't, and it's kind of a weird situation. So they have to be aware of leaving like notes for the other person about what they did in their body that day in order for the other person not to be confused and just very lost. When the movie begins, we are kind of lost because it's practically already happening, but then we get up to speed pretty fast, I think. And the first half of the movie is just that, the exchange of bodies and the hilarity that happens around that, and how weird it is to exchange lives with someone that is so different from you. Not really because they're a woman or a man, but because they lead very different lives. Mitsuha lives in a small town with her grandmother and her younger sister, and her grandmother runs a temple. And lives in Tokyo, a huge city, and he has work, and he has a girl he likes at work, and he goes to high school too. So it's really two different lives, and it's really interesting when they get mixed. And I think those kind of stories, the stories about people that get like different positions in life and they get to exchange in one moment or another, are always funny and are always really interesting, because I think it's kind of an exploration about how we are, our society, and the different levels there are, and the different lives we can lead even in these modern times. I mean, for example, Mitsuha has a cell phone. We see it often in the movie, but she's not like really on the internet that much. She's not really into many things in which Taki is interested in. So it's kind of interesting and it's kind of funny too. The second half of the movie is a little bit much more different. I won't go into details about that because it might be a spoiler, but it goes deeper into the relationship within the two of them. Not really their lives as individuals, but their lives together, and how this experience just bounds them together basically. And of course it's going to happen because they were in one another's bodies. I mean, they lived each other's lives, and for some days, some hours, but it was a really bonding experience. And I mean, I won't say why, but it's really important that they share those feelings and lives and moments, because they really come in handy in one very fateful moment. So that's really interesting that they build up to that. I have to say that the best part of this movie is the first part, the first half. The second half is a little bit less attached to reality. To be honest, it has mainly one thing that you're like, really? That happened? Okay. Because at the start, yes, they exchange bodies, but it's nothing else. And it's something silly, and it doesn't really have an explanation, not a clear explanation, never in the movie. And that makes it kind of funny. Because then the second half tries to explain it and tries to give it a little more, and it's a little bit more spiritual, more like deeper, and that's it depends. It depends of what kind of person you are, how much you would like that second half of the movie. It's good. It's a really good movie overall. The animation, as in Garden of Words, is just amazing. I mean, the animation is just perfect. Everything is up to detail. Everything is a copy of reality. It's amazing. I mean, there are magazines and there are newspapers and there are like landscape pictures basically, and everything looks exactly as it looks in real life, and it's just amazing. It's amazing 2D. It's amazing as it is very immersive, but not only the animation, the technical part, but the story. The story is very much more engaging, I would say, than The Garden of Words. As I said in that review, that movie lacks story. It needed to tell something more, something else to get people interested, because what got us interested in that movie was the technical part of it. In this movie, it isn't really. The story is really interesting because Mitsuha has a really particular life. She doesn't talk to her father. Her mother is gone. She lives with her grandmother. She has a young sister. Every time that the boy, the Taki, gets into her body, he touches her breasts because he thinks it's funny to have breasts, basically. And when she's in his body, she touches his penis, basically. She just sees that he's there, and she's like, okay, I have a penis now. And it's really funny, but it's also a kind of an experimentation in society and how we relate each other. For example, Mitsuha really knows how to handle Taki's body, Taki's self, when he's talking to a girl, because she's a girl, so she knows how to relate that. But when he's in his own body, it doesn't really make any sense. Same as the opposite. There's something that Taki can do in Mitsuha's body that she's unwilling to do a little bit, because she only wants to go away from her village and just escape the really dreary and slow country life, if you will. So they are really complementing each other in basically every way, and it's really interesting. The ending is really beautiful because it's really natural. I mean, it's really corny, to be honest, and we have to accept that anime is really corny most of the times. So that you should know that always, that when you're watching an anime movie, you know that you're going to get something really silly or kind of corny or something like that. But it's really well done, and it makes sense at the end of this movie. You're like, okay, that had to happen because of how things were built, because of how things happened. And it's really interesting also the relationships with the parents and the relationships with the friends. I mean, in this movie you don't really see the parents except for for her father, and his father is like shown like once or something. I mean, I think Taki doesn't have a mother either, but it's really interesting because it's like no, there are no parents. They are living on their own basically, and it's really weird because it's like a teenage world basically, and that's why it's a teenage movie for teenagers and for kids and for young people to see and to relate and to be like, oh yeah, I have been through that and so on. That's why this movie is so interesting, and I would recommend anyone to see it because it's really good. Technically, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's really beautiful movie. It's not too long. I don't really remember how long it is. I think it's under 2 hours, maybe 150 or something like that. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting movie about traditional culture and the technology and how Japan lives in that like area, gray area between the two, and how Japanese kids and Japanese teenagers live in between that, and how teenagers are everywhere in the world affects them and makes them relate in such interesting ways. I mean, it's really a good movie, an interesting movie, a really deep teenage drama, to be honest. And I know that sounds kind of lame, but it isn't. In this case, it really isn't, and you shouldn't underestimate teenage dramas at all. Thank you so much for watching this review. Please subscribe to my channel first of all, and give a like to this video if you like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. It's okay. And leave a comment down below if you have seen this movie and if you have liked it. And please share this video on all your social media for everyone to see it. Thank you so much. Goodbye.